Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Yes, it is, and welcome to New Life Live. I am very happy that you're joining us today. I've got two wonderful people here on Cinco de Mayo. They are not intoxicated, which is customary for a lot of people on this day.
Especially at this time of day. It's really nice, right? That's a plus
Dr.
for
Jill
us,
Hubbard
Alice.
Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jill Hubbard. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Okay.
We've just all right.
I was chastised over the weekend, rightly so.
Oh,
Okay.
My husband said, you are giving all your attention to the kids and work. I'm feeling a little left out. So we had a daddy spa date yesterday. And the kids all joined in on a foot massage and a facial. I don't know that that's what he was asking for, but that's what he got so far.
well, good for him.
That's the kind of attention he got, yes. Yeah, Alice, I don't know if that's what he was asking for.
I can imagine that was fun for him. Thanks. All right. Well, you never know. One of my prize photographs is a photograph Misty took of me painting Amelia's toenails. And
I love
a really
that.
fun little thing, their spa day for her that we did. Hey, by the way, it's not just Cinco de Mayo, and I do remember in times when I did actually drink alcohol, those were fun. Well, not necessarily, but anyway, those were days of one kind.
I prefer horchata for Cinco de
connection.
Mayo.
But we have different kinds of connection now, much richer, much deeper. And you can connect with us at 1-800-229-3000. Now, this is Teacher Appreciation Week. And I think it's also great that Teacher Appreciation Week falls on or in the month of Mental Health Awareness Month. Because a lot of people that are homeschooling now, that have become teachers, are questioning their own mental health, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do. And the frustration levels can get really, really pretty tremendous. We've had some discussions at our home that have had some tension-filled moments. But look, just do the best you can and ask God to do the rest, fill in the rest. But we are appreciative of our teachers now more than ever, the things that they do and provide, and so much out of their pockets. And so if you get a chance, show some teacher, including yourself, some appreciation today, because they sure deserve it. Well, we're fortunate to be here, and I want to be sure that everybody knows one of the best things we do at New Life. Well, we love the radio program, and that's our biggest ministry, but also Every Man's Battle. And this Saturday, we're doing our one-day Every Man's Battle workshop. And so please, ladies, just listen really closely for 5 seconds or more. A lot of people listen to the program, and when it comes to this is what we're doing, it passes right over your head. You don't even listen to what we're doing on Saturday. You might have a husband, a son, or a boyfriend, and you know there's a problem with sexual integrity. You don't know how to approach it or what to do. It's this simple. Let's say his name was Bob. Bob. There's a workshop this weekend. It's called Every Man's Battle. Would you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask them about that for you? I don't need that, whatever. Go, Bob, I'm not stupid. I'm not mean. I want the best for you and for us. I think it's the least you could do. Just that simple. Now you get to decide, or you get to discover, how important your relationship is. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, Every Man's Battle this weekend. If you want to join us on the program, we're in the studio for 2 hours. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Take a little break here. Come right back for more of New Life Live. Glad you're with us today with Jill and Alice and Steve.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jill Hubbard. Don't forget, I'm going through the 12 steps of grief, and I believe today we're on step 5 at 5 Eastern time. 5 or 6, I don't know which one it is, but anyway, it's there. Come join me. And then anyway, I'll tell you about what else we're going to do there on Facebook. But it's Facebook Live, Steve Arterburn, New Life Steve, whatever. I don't know what it is, but I think you'd like it if you're interested in the grieving process and how the 12 steps could apply to that. It's pretty exciting. Let's go to the phones, 1-800-229-3000, and let's go to Joe. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Yes. Hi, Steve, I'm doing real good today. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. What's going on in your life?
Well, I need some help, if I could get it, from you and your counselors about some issues of my personality that have been brought to my attention by my wife of 21 years. And I want to see if you can help me work on some of these, a few of these issues.
Okay, let's hear what they are.
Okay. Well, and I feel, and I accept these from my wife, that I'm often prideful and maybe too proud. Feel like I'm entitled. I may be shallow, like a shallow how, and that I go around issues which prolongs or prevents resolution of them. And so I feel guilty about these things, and I want to remove these behavior characteristics because I want our marriage to survive and be stronger.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we see? We'll start with Jill.
Well,
and see if we can get a little more information here. Go ahead.
I love your willingness, and that I don't know if you've always been willing, but that you're accepting these things from your wife, and that you're even validating her concerns. I mean, that is certainly a first step in making changes, is we have to, accept our imperfections, and that, wow, these are some ways in which I have coped in life, right? So we all develop coping strategies through life to protect ourselves. So often it's interesting because people that are very prideful and entitled are often really overcompensating for the shame that they feel deep inside. So it doesn't feel good to feel shameful. So if you can flip into, well, I deserve things, and, in a more prideful state, then you don't have to feel those less comfortable feelings of shame. And I'm wondering if that might fit for you.
Yes, it might. I think that, I guess, like you say, helps me avoid the real issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like to get some ideas for helping this.
Right. So you have this tendency to avoid. You're deflecting, you're avoiding, you don't want to look at something, right? So it's like there's this fear of, if I look at the real issues, then what?
Right.
You know, like how would
well,
you finish that?
Yeah. Oh, if I look at the real issues.
Mm-hmm.
What might you be
then what?
afraid of that would cause you to kind of do something
To
other
skirt around
than
things,
sit
to
down
deflect,
and really try to deal with what's going on inside?
Yeah, I guess just feeling of being what I'm saying is not rational, or my feelings being denied or just rejected. Now, I've been accused of being shallow or talking about non-important or non-consequential issues, such as the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I need to.
Joe, that fear of
I feel like I need to
rejection.
stop talking about those kind of things.
Joe, that fear of rejection is a very good insight. Who rejected you when you were young that you needed to love and accept you?
Yeah, good question.
Okay. Yes.
Can you answer that?
Well, yes, I think I can. Although I love my dad very much, and he was really, when I think about fun times in my life, he took me fishing. He taught me how to fish, how to hunt, things like that. But I think he was still a little aloof about things and made it. Although I did get he told me I was going to have to go to school real close by if I didn't get a scholarship, and I did get one, and so I went to college on a scholarship, and later went on to become a dentist, which I've been for 44 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't sound like
but,
you have didn't have much of a heart connection with your father. Would that be true?
Right. He would do things with me, but I couldn't get. It was hard to seem like to get close.
He didn't know how to emotionally connect.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I would say
And
so.
he was your role model. So you didn't learn how to emotionally connect. So now you skirt
Right.
around shallowness because you don't know how to go into the deep waters. So some of what your wife is asking of you, I think there would be anxiety about, because it's like, well, what does she even mean? Like intellectually you get it, you're a smart man, but emotionally it's like you don't even know how to venture into those waters.
Yes, and at age 73 now, I feel that somehow that maybe my short-term memory has waned somewhat, because
Happens.
I get called on the carpet about, well, I just already told you about that, kind of thing.
So what do you
and
think
I
he should
can't
do?
Remember.
What do you?
Well, Joe, I would bet when your wife calls you out on the carpet, maybe historically you've been defensive first. But if you want to be able to connect with your wife, you have to stop trying to correct, you're defending yourself or correcting her, trying to tell her that she's wrong. You mentioned you feel guilty, and that's a start. You're a willing man, which we don't always get. We're proud of you for that. That guilt needs to be moved into godly sorrow. And what that means is getting into your wife's experience of your pride and your entitlement and your shallowness and how it has hurt her over the years. This is a difficult process, but if you'll start going to her, and I would do this on a daily basis, how have I been prideful today? How have I been avoidant? And how did it affect you? But you have to just listen to her answer without defending yourself. Just receive what she has to say. And as you start to feel empathy for her, that allows grace in, and that will change what you can't change on your own, Joe. You probably will need to work on some forgiveness for both of your parents. Even though you recall so easily all the good things, what they weren't able to provide, it harmed you and it's harming your marriage. And so processing through forgiving them purposefully, intentionally to save your marriage will help.
So,
Hey,
Joe, that
I'm
means you
just
have...
curious, Joe. Let me ask Joe if he's been. Have you been in a men's Bible study? Do you have a church where they've got a good men's Bible study group going or not?
Yes, I'm kind of in that censure right now because my wife and I attend a church with Robert Morris Ministries in South Lake, Texas.
Yeah.
And but I'm in Durant, Oklahoma, working, and then I go home on weekends back to Texas. Spend weekends there. And
Well, let me
stay
just
for
suggest
quite a
this
while.
to you. Most groups of churches are online now, and I would really, while you're away especially, I would try to get with other men online in a men's Bible study.
Okay.
You might also want to consider a group to help you with codependency, a recovery group, a life recovery group that deals with codependency. I did one last night with a group from Florida, a Zoom meeting, and so I know that you can get involved with that. But you need some codependency recovery. You need some men helping you feel good about being a man. And then I'm going to send you a grief workbook and a life recovery Bible. And I think if you could focus in this book, grieving the loss of the father that didn't really help you learn some of these connection skills, I think that could be a very, very valuable experience doing that. Jill, what were you going to say there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Steve, I think the Emotional Freedom Workbook might be something
Yes.
that would be helpful. I know we're not giving away dozens of resources, but that
I will make an exception
but that
here
might be
for,
something
caller
good to
number
get.
one.
And Joe, I think it's important to admit to your wife that you just don't know how to go deep.
That's good.
And then, as you know, it's important to try to sit with the uncomfortable feelings for a few seconds longer than you did previously. And that Alice is talking about the grieving. It's like we have to sit in that and just feel it, right? Because our fear of it is often worse than the actual sitting in it. So it's just
And so-
allowing yourself to be there in that space.
And ask her to be patient with you, because it is really hard to break out of a habit of always just defending whatever comes your way. I've been working on it. I really hope by the time I'm 72, I'm going to be able to get that down. So I'm going to get those here. This is what we're sending you. The Emotional Freedom Workbook. We're going to send you the Grief Workbook, Life Recovery Workbook with the Life Recovery Bible. And I hope that those are great resources, and we're going to encourage you to connect. Nothing better, than a really great male counselor to help with issues like this. And if any of you guys, again, if you're dealing with sexual integrity issues, then of course you're not going to be able to connect. And I'm not saying there was anything there, Joe, with you, but with other guys, Every Man's Battle is this Saturday, and you call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and sign up. Okay, let's go to Addie, Washington, D.C. WAVA is the station there. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. I'm calling to see if you could recommend some treatment for our son. He's 43 years old, has a Christian wife, six little children, and she, in the last few days, sent us a letter because she has observed some tendencies in him, and then looking back, my husband and I see we can agree with her. And she tells us he has an ability to provide for the family, and difficulties with the relationships, I'm reading from her letter, fixations on a few certain topics, inability to relate socially to others, isn't able to relate with others easily, not able to track a conversation about other important matters. He will joke at inappropriate times, and goes on and on. She thinks it's Asperger's.
Okay.
And I'm
is he an extremely intelligent young man?
He is.
Okay. And
he was through school, but difficulties, getting his work done, finishing his work, all those things.
Okay, so is he unable to hold a job because he doesn't? He can't relate to the people that he's working with? How does that go?
I'm not sure. The jobs don't last long. He was in the service for 16 years. He went to Iraq during the heat of the war. He was there 16 months straight. When he came back and he was exhibiting some of these things, I thought maybe it was PTSD. But, they've been married 12 years, and so she, had more time to observe these things.
Yeah.
And in
okay,
school,
quick question, and then I'm going to turn this over to, I'll turn it over to Alice. Has he or is he getting any kind of help whatsoever?
No. That's what I would like to pursue for him.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question, too? Yeah. Addie, has any of what his wife said to you ring true for you in terms of his childhood? Did you see any of these tendencies prior to his service?
My husband, yes. And we thought, that was just his personality. And we looked up files that my husband has kept from school, and we did talk to a counselor at one point, and the teachers agreed, but they never came up with any analysis like this of Asperger's. They just, let it go, I guess. We were concerned about his speech also, not real clear, and then, started having conflicts with his siblings at home and just.
And Addie, when his wife or you, his parents, have asked him to accept treatment, what has his response been in the past?
She says he wants prayer in order to approach him about this. He had just come to this conclusion that this is the problem.
And he's now accepting that this is the problem?
She hasn't talked to him about it.
Huh, okay.
She wants to talk to him about it.
All right. Well, good friend of mine has Asperger's and has done amazing things in this world with it. You could do, he can't do.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we're talking here with Addie, whose son, 43, a lot of problems. Now, Addie, I hope that the diagnosis is Asperger's, because I got to tell you, of all of the diagnoses out there, if I, could pick one, I'd take that one over borderline or manic depressive, all this kind of stuff, because there are things that can be done, and he can do great things if he'll do them. I'm a little bit shocked that he's 43 and nobody is talking about this until 43. And when you combine his military experience, where a person with Asperger's is told, just do this, and you have to follow orders, then you get out of that and you're very, very unregimented now. You don't have to follow orders. It's kind of hard to function sometimes out of the military. But if he will do some things, his life can get better, a lot better. He can accomplish a lot of stuff and learn to relate to his wife. So let me just, Alice, Jill, what if he was your client, what would you tell him to do? I mean, would the first thing be to Google Asperger's and start looking at the resources there? What would be the first step?
Well, I first would want to get him, make sure we've got an accurate diagnosis. And so I would want him to get in with a psychiatrist who has experience in this area with people on the spectrum. And, he's 43. I'm sure when he was a kid, this was not as popular to be discussed, right? We've done a lot more in the last, 20 years with this. Mm-hmm. So get an accurate diagnosis first, so you're really clear on what you're dealing with. And then there are different things for helping someone like him learn. He's smart, so he needs to have some kind of plan and structure in place that can help him learn the things that he is lacking. So that's everything from a lot of times they utilize groups for this to teach some of the skills, as well as he and his wife working with a therapist to help work on their marriage, to help him more attuned to her and her to him. And I would also suggest for his wife that she get into, and she's got 6 kids, but now with everything online, there are groups for wives of spouses with Asperger's. And while they're not maybe, as plentiful as like an AA group, they still have them because it's becoming more and more prevalent. And it's a lonely place to be. So I think, Addie, your support of her and validating the disconnect that she must feel and the loneliness of him not always cluing in. And at some point, he's going to need to hear that she's in a very lonely spot. And so that's where the marital therapy comes in, for him to learn how to be there for her and support her.
And Addie, I hope you and your husband will first try to empower your daughter-in-law to approach your son about this, and that you would be kind of background support depending on his response to her. Hopefully between the two of them they can work this out. But if he's unwilling, or if he keeps pushing back with, well, let's just pray and think about this and wait about it, with those 6 kids and he's not earning a steady income, then you and your husband may need to take a stronger role in being those witnesses that back up what she's saying about him, lovingly supporting him and getting help for the sake of his family.
One of the best things that can happen is him have a spirit of humble willingness, because sometimes a person with his IQ and experience and stuff, they get a job at, let's say, on a scale of A, B, C, D, they get the A job, can't do it for a lot of reasons. But if they get the C job, it's a steady income, and it helps them get back in the game again. And one day they can get back to the A job that they want. But a lot of times you'll see them justify not having a job because of what they did, how they were treated, and all of this, and then it doesn't produce any income. Yeah,
Steve, there's also a lot of comorbid diagnoses, because people with Asperger's that are smart enough to realize they don't quite connect all the dots at times, can get really depressed and also develop social anxiety. So those things can be treated too to help them.
And he may have some post-traumatic stress from his military experience. So really important, like you said, get to a psychiatrist. But there are some I have these books. There are some great Asperger's books that help you see some things that you just don't see, things that you miss. And I miss stuff all the time. My wife will say, hey, can you believe that? And I go, what? What are you talking about? Well, obviously she was quite distressed. What? I thought she was just baking a pie. No, she was about to, leave. So anyway, it's just interesting to see how much you can miss, but you can get better. And that's what we're hoping for there. All right. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us. If you want to help us financially, you can do it right now by texting. Just text these letters. NLM match. You text that to this location, 28950. 28950. NLM match to 28950. And every dollar you text in there, well, they're going to match it with another dollar from this matching fund that we have. Matching funds are no fun if there are other funds not coming in to match, and then they just sit there. And so put the fun in matching fund by texting to 28950 NLM match. Strike the match, dump the fund money into the real money that we can use to reach others during this time. Never done more. Ministry's never been better than during this virus. We'll be back.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change. By the end of the day yesterday, her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and Larry Sonnenberg is here. I'm going to also send a copy to her for her daughter-in-law of Take Your Life Back. I think that's going to be really helpful. It'll help him also, along with the other things that he's going to need to be looking at. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio. Let's talk about our needs for help from folks.
Yeah, I heard you just before the break talk about the match and the texting. Thank you for doing that.
Right. Yep.
I'm going to read a short little note of why I want people to continue to give, or to give for the first time. Dear Steve and all the wonderful counselors and ministers of compassion and love in your ministry, thank you is only a weak attempt to express my gratitude to you and your ministry since I joined Club New Life several months ago. I've been able to receive help, and I've connected to a wonderful counselor in Fresno. My life has gone from deep, long-term depression of 20-year physical and sexual addict to a second 10-year marriage to a wonderful, sustainable, supportive, God-filled life. I was raised in the church, but a lot of spiritual abuse as well. I'm so grateful to the Lord who never leaves us nor forsakes us. And I'm so grateful for your programs that daily sustain my walks, as I literally do my exercise of walking. I get my exercise and I'm fed emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And then she enclosed the check above and beyond her Club New Life giving. So,
wow.
I want to say thank you to Club New Life members. You guys have sustained us during this pandemic time. It's just been amazing. It's been so helpful. We need, and I would ask if you haven't joined Club New Life to consider doing that. But I also just want to encourage you to please help us fill this match. If we can get that match matched, we will survive and get through the tough times that we have right after the first of the year. February and March were really troubling. And so we can catch up and get back on top and be ahead of the game, and we would love to be there. But you can make it happen.
Yep. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Gift of any amount, I'll send you 100 days of healing. It's one of the best things to ever come out of here. I hope and pray if you don't have it, you'll get it. It's our way of saying thank you. I also want to mention this, Larry, while you're here. A woman went to Women of Faith, found out about New Life, got into recovery, started a life recovery group in Florida. And last night I was the Zoom speaker in that life recovery meeting. She also follows us on Facebook Live at 5 o'clock while I'm doing the quarantine chats and going through the steps on grief. And it was just like everything came together. Women of faith, new life, life recovery, everything right there. And I just want people to know, when you support us, we're reaching people, we're trying to help them in any way possible. You never know what kind of impact. And $1 now is $2. We get to match it, and until you give it, we can't match it.
And when we
so
say,
please do.
When you say match it, I want people to understand we have money these folks have given, and it's in a fund in the bank. And if you give $100, $100 comes out of that fund. So $200 really is realized. It's a true actual match. Your money is really doubled, and it's very meaningful. And thank you to everybody who gave to make that matching fund possible.
Yeah. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number, newlife.com. And if you just want to text it to us, it's NLM match to 28950 on your texting device. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. All right, let's go to Dee Dee from New York City, New York. How are you, Dee Dee? How's it going?
Hi. I appreciate you taking my call. Hi. Yeah. There's a lot of layers to this story, and I'm calling because I'm torn between leaving and staying with my husband of 39 years. We have 3 daughters and 8 grandchildren, and I guess I could begin with this. Approximately 14 years ago, my husband had pulled away from me emotionally and physically. I've felt very neglected. And then I never understood why. But about 2 years ago, I went into his phone and I found a very inappropriate text. The woman that he texted it to really didn't respond to him the first time. The second time, he just said, "Happy Independence Day." She did respond very flatly, and then he came back with an inappropriate remark, and she never responded again. I've been trying to reach out to her, but she has not, contacted me. My counselor told me to get my husband to the VA immediately, that he had non-affect and seemed very depressed. He did do that immediately. He went to the VA. They through many months, they've diagnosed him with avoidant personality disorder, complex PTSD, severe depression. So I'm just struggling between, was this behavior caused from all that? He had cancer in 2012 also, I should add, which complicates things, because that's when all that stuff kind of started. I noticed during those years.
So the question for us would be
struggling.
What?
I'm not really sure what the question is. I'm just torn for myself between choosing to stay with him and work through this, or was this behavior just bad behavior? Was it? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just struggling.
All right. Well, let me just start this way and say this. Really sorry for what you've been through. And I would say this, rather than trying to dig into what happened, why, all of those different things, here's the big question. Honey, this is what's happened. Here's who you were before you went off the Marines, or here's who you were when we were dating, and here's who you were when we first got married, and now here's what it feels like to me to be married to you. Now the question is, given all of this, what are you willing to do to help yourself and to help our marriage? And I'm going to give you 24 hours to really think this through, because here's what I'm not willing to do. I'm not willing to wait any longer for things to get better. So don't answer me now. No need to defend yourself. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is, I love you. I care about you as a person. And I care about us as a couple. So this time tomorrow, I'd like you to come back to me after you've maybe talked to some people, even gone online, see what help is available. What are you willing to do to make your life better and to save our marriage? I'll talk to you
We are
tomorrow.
in counseling. We have been in counseling.
All right.
It's not a Christian counselor, but it's been helpful to some degree. He claims he has no emotion. He's totally alexithymic, I guess.
But let me clarify this for you. Let me clarify something.
Yes.
What you do as a couple isn't going to be effective if he has a character problem that he's not working on in and of itself, separate from what you're doing as a couple. Alice, maybe you could take it from there.
Supposedly they are doing that.
Well, is any of the counseling addressing your concerns about his fidelity?
Yeah, there you go.
No.
And has it ever?
No, it's all kind of, they're just telling me, oh, nothing ever happened. He was just having inappropriate, flirting, that it was harmless. My husband said it was nonsense. That he was
no
just
flirting
looking for
is harmless. No flirting's harmless.
Thank you very much. Thank you
all
for saying
flirting,
that.
all flirting is betrayal, and it's an invitation to something.
Well, and even the diminishing of it, to not see it. Okay, do we have to have the worst thing happen before we address it?
Right. Exactly.
I think you want to address it now while it is still flirting.
And it isn't just flirting now.
No, it's
now
not.
It's inappropriate text messages too, which takes it to another level. It's of course.
I'm thankful that you acknowledge that because all the counselors have been dismissive to it. They just say it's nobody's really understanding my betrayal. They just think that it's it was harmless. Oh, it's not a big deal. This is what happens. This is what men do, and it's been extremely hurtful to me.
Dee Dee, we hear that pain, and of course this is the value not just of a Christian counselor, because not every Christian counselor, but when you get a New Life counselor, we're going to help you find somebody that understands the deep pain of any kind of betrayal. Because here's the thing, you don't know. If he's connecting and flirting, you don't know what the real truth is. No one knows the depth of it, if they've ever met together, which those things are irrelevant in a way if he's working on the character that led to it. But if he's not, because counselors are saying, oh, it's not that big a deal, then you're stuck. We'll help you after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to
fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us. We're talking with Dee Dee, and here her husband has been doing things, and then the male counselor says to her and others, oh, don't worry about it. It's harmless. I want to tell you, I was talking to Jill and Alice about this. I cannot imagine a male counselor saying to a man who's there for couples therapy, oh, don't worry about your wife flirting with all these men and going to a bar and flirting, and it's just harmless stuff. I don't think any man in his right mind would have that kind of direction to another man. I think it's demeaning. I think it's discounting. I think it's objectifying of you on the part of any therapist that would say online texting, inappropriate stuff is harmless. It isn't harmless. It's sick. All right. So what do you guys think
Well, not only that, but he met one of these women in another country. The therapist said to me, well, he only saw her 2 times. I mean, it's
my goodness.
Very
You have the wrong therapist. You have the wrong therapist. Okay, so Jill, what should she do? Just tell her, give her some great direction.
Okay, we need to do some practical things. First of all, Dee Dee, so again, you're hearing that we validate you. This is not a small problem.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, I think it would really do you some good to attend our Restore workshop.
Great idea.
Where you could really feel supported.
Listen, yes.
Okay, so that would be, we're going to send you Every Man's Battle, if you don't already have that book, for your husband, but I know a lot of women who read it as well. And we really want your husband to go to Every Man's Battle. And right now with it being online, it's easier than ever. And I think to say to him, this isn't a small problem to me. And, if you're willing to work on our marriage and work on our issues, I need you to do something for me, right? And so would you be willing to attend this workshop? Because this is what I need to move forward in our marriage.
Yeah, I think you're at a point where, these things, they either get enabled or there's an intervention that really changes everything, and that's where you are. And you just don't know the extent. He met with somebody twice. Oh, my goodness. So I think you really can say either this or we're probably not going to make it here.
And here's the thing, too, to be someone who is a vet and what it takes for a man to go into that kind of environment. And, everybody's different, but you have to shut down your emotions to be in that environment. And the things he's doing now are things that are higher stimulation behaviors. And I think sometimes, people seek that when they don't feel. Right? So he's trying to have some kind of feeling, but it's misdirected because that's not the kind of feeling he needs. To be in our Every Man's Battle where men connect and they connect about their wounds and the little boy inside of them, that's where you get to some real feelings. And that's where maybe that could awaken in him.
I would hope so. All right, I'm going to try to get in another phone call here real quick. It's 1-800-229-3000. We're going to do another program after this, and it'll be on Facebook Live. Vanessa, don't have a lot of time. I did want to get to your call. Listens on Wava from D.C. How could we help you today?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I've been, before the pandemic started, I've been putting off decluttering, right? And I've become a hoarder. Okay. Since my children are grown, my husband's deceased, and all that.
All right.
So my problem is, since the pandemic has been going on, and I thought I had, I'm here now. So I have plenty of time to get it decluttered, but I'm still not doing it, and I'm just trying to figure out what it is I can do to get myself to do it. I mean, I start, and then I might get a few things done, like shredding papers and trying to get rid of the papers, and because I keep papers forever.
Right. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever been able to successfully declutter your house on your own? Have you ever been able to do it in the past, or do you always get stuck in some way?
Well, I never had it. I didn't have a lot of clutter when my children were home, and you know, I was with my husband, and since I'm by myself, and I think I started the hoarding part of collecting stuff and leaving stuff everywhere because it was a safety net for me in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
It was a safety
Absolutely.
Net for me because I've been.
And then then you just kind of overdo the. You overdo the safety net, and it gets out of control.
And
so Alice,
you know, at a certain point in life, it catches up with you, right? You know, it grows over time. And Vanessa, it has a lot to do with loss. So that's part of that safety net, you know, keeping stuff around. I think there are some really good things that come out of Clutterers Anonymous. And I imagine that they would have those meetings online. They have really good materials that can help to kind of awaken to the problem and the emotional pull that it has on you. But Steve, you were saying it's about, it's hard to do it by yourself.
And so
well, it is. Yeah, go ahead.
Vanessa, we want you to think of the safest person in your life that you can trust with your burden, both your emotional, spiritual, and the physical burden. Someone else that you can confess this to, and then that you can invite into the process of going through both what's in your home, but also what's in your head that you've needed that safety net from. Vanessa, it's usually a parallel process of spiritually and emotionally decluttering so that you can physically declutter. So there may be grief about your husband's loss. There may be shame about how your house looks now. And that process of confessing, it brings light in, it brings grace in, which empowers you to then have the self-discipline to continue and to make process with the clutter, to make progress.
Vanessa, one of the things that's at the heart of having a house full of clutter and being a hoarder is something a lot of people don't really address, but you're kind of there, and we're in an epidemic of it, and it's procrastination. You know what to do, but you just can't get to it, and so in the Emotional Freedom Workbook, I did a whole section on procrastination because it's the key to so many things, especially the key to decluttering. And so now let me give you a break here. There has never been a time where it's easier to procrastinate than during this epidemic. It's almost like we've never had more time on our hands to use poorly and not do the stuff. And it's almost like it's a shaming thing that we have so much more time and we're not doing it. And so then that just shuts it down. So I think this Emotional Freedom Workbook is really going to help you with the procrastination, because all I need to do is a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow. And it only took me 62 years to figure out how to make it all work and meet deadlines and stuff like that. But I'm still learning. I think it's going to help you. And anybody else that has a hoarding problem, it could be it's partially somehow related to a big part of procrastination. Now, you get deeper into it, you find out, I'm procrastinating because I'm so afraid of being without this thing that represents the person that I lost. And if I let that go, I'm losing more of the person. So that's why I'm sitting here eating potato chips in bed, watching soap operas, rather than doing what I've got so much time to do. Anyway, so glad you joined us today. If you can help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Doing another program, Facebook Live right now, 1-800-229-3000. Come join us for New Life number 2.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.